What's up, everybody? This is your girl Ericka from the Classy Climb blog. I am so excited. Off of his premiere of his documentary, I have none other than Dallas's own Tim Jackson.
Let's get it. Let's get what's going on. It's been a minute since the last time you and I sat down.
For sure. Listen, Tim, I know you a superstar now. You just finished doing a tour talking about credit, if I'm not mistaken.
How to purchase your first property in any market.
Awesome. And people need that because, the interest rates just went back up again.
They did, and they're going back up some more. I just had someone, I don't sell a lot of real estate anymore. I'm very selective, but I do work with people who I really want to see win. And two clients just got approved, and both their interest rates are over 7%.
The crazy part is my mom had 7% from the early 1990s or late 1990s, and people were like, "Oh, you got to refinance," and she never did. And her home's about to be paid off, but a lot of people are like, "Oh, how can people afford housing at these rates?" And I go, "Our parents did 12%." 13%.
13, 15. My mother's first house she bought in the 80s, but she's still there. She had a 9.99% interest rate, and she had it for 25 years. So, it's just like people will find a reason to not do something. It's not on them. It's on us. Like at this point in the game, you got to want it.
Yeah.
So I tell my clients, specifically the ones that are trying to buy it now, when I bought my first house, I would say back in 2005 or 6, I believe that was, my interest rate was a 6.25, and that was a really good rate. So, those 1%, 2% rates, that's an anomaly.
Right.
You're not going to see that, in my opinion. We probably won't ever see that again. Or if we do, it's going to be for a short period of time. But, just get in, because what happens is you can eventually just refinance it. I cut mine down from a 6.25 to like a 3.25, and that saved me about $400 a month. And then we put the house on the market and rent it out, and the rest was history, Well,
since we're rocking with affordability, let's rock the whole show with affordability.
Let's do it.
Right?
Let's do it.
And then we're going to hit you back on the documentary.
All right, let's do it.
So right now, Dallas is all the rage. Now, me and some of the friends I know, every time we talk to somebody under 30 years old, they're telling me about Houston. Houston. But if I meet someone from California or upper New York, it's Dallas.
Absolutely.
And what is that? Why are people coming here? Is it so affordable? What's going on?
So I saw something that said within the next 30 years, the DFW Metroplex will have more people than New York City.
That's insane.
That's just within the next 30 years. Y'all look it up yourself. I know the Classy Climbers. I know y'all be on top of it. So do your own research on that and get back at me. But I'm a Dallas guy. Of course, I'm going to always be partial to my city. But it's just a growing economy. Like, there's so much here. We have, our economy touches every aspect of business. From call centers. This is like the call center hub. If you can't find a job in a call center here, you're just not employable. Medical. Aviation. You got Lockheed Martin here. You've got American Airlines and Southwest Airlines have a hub here. I think Spirit even has a hub here, too.
Not Spirit.
Banking, Bank of America, every major bank has a hub here. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Comerica has brought their business here. Chase, of course, like all the buildings downtown are bank buildings. And then Dallas and Fort Worth are two totally different worlds. So you can get the best of those both worlds while still having economic stability. I'm selling a house right now in Fort Worth that's under contract for $167,000.
Wow.
And that's today.
That's 2000. That's 2005 prices.
I haven't sold a house under $200,000 in 7 years. So it's here. But what happens is people sit on their butt and they play the what if game, or it won't work for me game, because that's what we do. Yeah, that worked for you, but it won't work for me. It's just like,
I'm special.
Because I'm special.
I'm different.
Yeah. So I begin to distance myself from people like that and just get around people that really, really understand what's going on, and the economists are telling you Dallas Fort Worth.
I literally saw a video where this guy was like, "Oh, there are no jobs in Dallas," and people ate him up. They're like, "Where do you live in Dallas? What's the street? What's the neighborhood?" And so I sometimes tell people it's selective blindness. They're selectively not seeing hiring signs up and down the road. They're selectively not seeing the movement of the neighborhoods because there ain't no way. Every time I drove up to Dallas for 6 months straight, I was always coming up here for various reasons. But I kept coming up here. I would be like, y'all, how are y'all not on the train? How are you not on the wave of all this movement?
Yeah. If a person says they can't find a job here, I just don't take them seriously.
Right.
When I got out of the military, before I was stationed in Alaska, before I even got back to Dallas, I had 3 job offers. Okay. So I literally got back to Dallas and went on 2 interviews the week I got back. Right. The only reason I couldn't start the jobs was because I didn't have my car at the time. They hadn't shipped my car yet. Yeah. So I said, hey, can I at least start on this day so I can have reliable transportation? But everyone's hiring. But and if you look at the stats, people just don't want to work.
Look, I came to Austin, Texas. Within 3 days, I had at least 4 job offers. And people were like, oh, my God, you don't have a job? I mean, I went to a church, and the first thing the dude was said, well, can you do phones? We have about a $70,000 a year entry level sales, light sales, light customer service.
No. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to run my own business without any business acumen, without any experience. I want to get out there and do exactly what the Instagram people tell me to do and get it how I live and look like I'm winning by running this business. And by running a business, I mean that like I get to post on social media all day and make y'all think I have money versus going to work a job, which is still a noble thing to do. It's like specifically Black people have gotten out of feeling like that having a job is a good thing. Like it's a curse to a person when you tell them that I have a job. It's like, what's wrong with people? Like if that's the way that you can gain income, you use that money to create wealth. Right. When I started in real estate, everyone I sold a house to worked with me. Right. At my company, whether it was working at the bank, whether it was working in an insurance company, whether it was working in tech, all of my clients were my employers. Yep. You see what I'm saying? But we've lost sight of the value of a job because now everyone's pushing that entrepreneurship narrative and you got to be your own boss. And these people are broke. They won't show you that though.
So here's the other side of it. The only other jobs these people are seeing are low wage jobs. Yeah. So when I talk to young people, I'm like, oh, jobs just over broke. Whoa, which job? I'm in Austin. A lot of people paying 70, 75, 80,000. Tech related.
Well, then the apartments cost too much. It's going to always be a response.
Right. Well, and I really believe it's lack of exposure. So they assume all jobs don't pay anything because they're seeing parents and grandparents struggle financially for a lot of years, and no one's exposing them to what? Higher paying jobs, or what are the skills I need to even go get that job?
Well, let's have that conversation, Ericka. Why do our parents and grandparents struggle for so long?
Lack of knowledge, lack of action taking, lack of exposure.
Comfortability. Our parents and grandparents were taught to work the same job for 30, 40 years, retire, get a gold watch, and ride off to the sunset. That is not our reality now.
It's not.
So you got to understand that there's a fear that comes with that change, and our parents and grandparents weren't taught how to create change. They were taught to, if you got in that position, you stay there. That's why a lot of them work for the city. That's why a lot of them work for the post office. That's why a lot of
government jobs,
work at the government jobs, because these are the jobs that would hire you to come, and after 6 months of working there, you essentially can't get fired. Ever. Right? Ever. So it's like, with us, we job hop. We move around. We have a lot more mobility and a lot more access. So we're comparing, we're trying to place a square peg into a round hole, comparing our generation to our grandparents' and parents' generation when there's 2 different sets of rules.
Exactly. And you have to learn and unlearn. And the thing I'm seeing the most of is people don't realize some people's parents are retiring and then they go get another job. Oh, but no. On average, every 20 years, you're going to change into something else. Right? From 20 to 40, people were doing military, right? They retire. Now they got to relearn and tool up for something else for the next 20 years. Yep. And then when they in their 60s, they still, oh man, I'm still running around. I can still do something. And so I think people are scared of the fact that they're going to keep having to change, right? These 20-year increments don't seem so scary. But some of the young people we know, they've switched careers, they've switched jobs and everything in the past 6 years.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's kind of like the average person who lives in their house. Was it 3 to 5 years? People move every 3 to 5 years. Like, or as our parents stayed in the same house for 30 years. It's a different mentality. It's a different mindset. It's a different culture. So at some point in the game, you just have to adapt to it. And the way you do adapt to it and you maintain that flexibility is you keep your debt low. You have things that you're investing in that's bringing you back or yielding you back something. It doesn't have to be a ton of money, but just something that's going to give you something residual. And you live below your means, and you don't have to be the person that's, flexing on everybody. But we got this thing where we chase the cherry on top before we chase the cake. We want the cherry on top. We want to look the part. Right. We don't want people to think we're broke. But if you look broke for a year, maybe 2 years, you'll be wealthy for the rest of your life. But the average person, they don't understand that because social media promotes looking apart.
And social media is more, right? There were people talking about G-Wagons. Do you remember that? The G-Wagon craze? And this girl said, she was like, I don't even be driving. And I had wanted a G-Wagon. She's like, I literally walk everywhere I want from my apartment to her where she lives. And they was like, she's like, and I literally, because of the social media, was like, I need a G-Wagon. She's like, for what? It's just going to sit here.
And it's not the car that makes you broke. It's the maintenance. You know, I always tell people that, you know, when you take that nice car in for an oil change, you can't take it to Walmart and get a $30 oil change. You got to go to the dealership and get that $200. You know what I'm saying? You buy these cars and you can't even rotate the wheels on them because they're sports packages. So, you know, the front wheels are different size than the back wheels. So now when you go in for your service, oh, you need a new set of tires. Oh, how much that cost? $1,500.
Just $1,500.
Just $1,500. I can't go with the discount tire. No. See, you got the luxury, and what keeps people broke is the maintenance. You know, when I look at houses that are foreclosed here, the big houses that are foreclosed in some of the areas like DeSoto, some of the areas where a lot of black.
Not DeSoto.
Oh yeah. You know,
DeSoto, the black Mecca,
where people were gravitating to, the DeSotos, Cedar Hills, Grand Prairies. When I look at some of these houses that have foreclosed, that have gone into bad shape, it's because the people couldn't uphold the maintenance. Yeah. You know, when it's time to get a new roof, that's going to run you $20,000 because of the type of roof it is, the size of the house it is. When it's time to do new plumbing, that's a $25,000, $30,000 job. When electrical work goes bad, because some of these houses were built pretty crappy, they can't afford it. Insurance is not paying for it. And it's just like, well, let me just abandon it.
And the problem is, so I had friends in handyman services, blue collar services, electrical services, and what they had started getting into financing, right? So to make your company profitable, that's a blue collar service company, AC, whatever, clients weren't able to pay it. They couldn't do credit cards, so they would connect with financing companies. So now they come to you. Now you got to get a financing for you to do the maintenance, and now there's a lien on your property for a $20,000 roof. You can't sell. Even if you do sell, guess what? That $20K coming right off the top if you don't pay it.
Coming off the top.
So a lot of people don't realize, even if you move to your home, you need credit. Because that was one of the things, like, well, you just need your credit good enough to get into the house. And now you're getting cars, you're getting stuff. Well, now there's a roof, there's an AC, and you can't get the funding to get your repair.
And people say, why does my rent go up so much every year? It's because the person that owns your property is paying for all that maintenance. You know what I'm saying? Then taxes are going up. Yep. So we're going to pass that off on you. Insurance is going up. Texas has some of the highest insurance rates in the nation right now. Like, homeowner insurance rates in Texas are trash right now, bro. Like, trust me, I pay mine yearly. Yeah. And we've got a few of them coming due on a couple properties. It's like, we about to spend, man, we probably finna spend, and I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm not trying to flex or brag. We probably finna spend about, just on a couple properties that we have, maybe 3 or 4 of them, it's going to be about a $10,000 insurance bill.
And it's coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. Yeah, we got to get the money out of these bad landlords. You're renting. Yeah. This is a pass-through cost. Yeah. Same thing at the stores. Why can't food be cheaper? We got to pay the farmer to get it here. We got to pay the trucker to get it here. We got to, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's levels to it, but we don't teach our economy that way.
We don't. We have this skewed perception of reality, and we act as if that skewed perception of reality is actual reality, when in reality, nothing that we've been taught to believe is true. So then when we start getting out there and we start learning that all the stuff that we think that we know is BS, then it creates a dilemma. And the dilemma gives two responses. Either I can say, okay, let me shift the way I approach this and do it the right way, or let me just give up. And most people just give up.
Well, the crazy part is, what I see a lot is those. So this is what I tell people. I said every summer, right before school started, oh, these kids, school supplies, the school supply. And I'd be thinking, man, what's on these lists? What they charging? I finally got a hold of a lot of lists. On average, you know what school supplies are on average? What was that? $75. And that's what the school asked for. That's not like the clothes for the kid, the book bag, but the school supply list on average, $55 to $75.
It's not expensive. Like, our school does a packet for $90. Then you got to wear a uniform. So if I buy, my sons, if I buy him 5 shirts and 5 pair of pants, the shirts are going to be $25 because they have to have an emblem on it. The pants are going to be about $12, $13, depending on if you find them at an Old Navy or something like that. So you're talking about, altogether, I may spend around $250 for the entire year. And that's not bad. It's really not. But every year people complain about that.
Every year. Every year you come on Facebook, it's the cry of the parents. The school supplies. Who they giving these supplies to? My kid can't be using this many supplies in the school year. It can't be.
Well, I bet your man have on them J's.
Man, listen.
We can spend the money on the bullshit. We can spend the money. He's fresh to death.
No paper, no pens.
Yeah, no can't backpack. Read. I done made a lot of people mad today. I've been going in on how specifically black boys are losing in every statistical educational category except things that are tied to sports and discipline.
And confidence.
Yeah.
They did a confidence test. Americans are number one in confidence.
We number one in confidence, but
confident in what?
Our boys can't read. You know, if I tell you every time I go to a school, if I go to a black school and I talk to a group of black boys and I ask them, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? 99% of them are going to tell me something in sports. You know, so it's just like, bro, you don't understand that being a professional athlete, there's so many layers to it. No matter even how good you are, there's still politics that you need to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've worked with people who play Major League Baseball. I've had clients that play in the NFL. I have clients that play in the NBA. Like, they all tell me the exact same thing. You could be the best person on the team. There's still politics associated with this game. And if you can't go into a room and politic, you're not going to play. It just is what it is. You're not going to get that opportunity. And we are selling this dream to our sons when we should be teaching them economics. We should be teaching them buying properties. We should be teaching them trades. Like, trades.
I mean, to me right now, if I was a black man with, I ain't got no money, I'm broke, I really don't know Uber or something, what can I do handyman? What can I fix? That would be my first top of mind, because fix? You always know some old ladies need something fixed at their house.
I'm going to throw something out there for anybody that needs something, okay? As I sit here, one of the things that I hate, I see this on TikTok a lot. Here in my office, I don't have any smoke detectors, but out in the hallway, you can hear the smoke detector beeping, which grinds my gears. I hate listening to videos.
It's lazy.
But you can start a company called, Beep, Fix My Beep. And you can literally market to people, hey, I can fix your smoke detector. You can charge people $20 for a service call to go buy a $4 battery and to show up at their house and just change out all their smoke detector batteries. Like you got to get creative. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would do if I had no bread.
Do you know how many black people I watch that? I'd be like, they doing a whole dysentery on 20 minutes seminar, and they be like, beep, beep, beep. I'd be like, baby, what I need you to do.
Yeah.
If you got a man there, because if you got a man there, he don't love you.
He don't love you,
because that beeping is crazy.
I done put in a thing, and I done told them to change that thing. I'm probably just going to change it myself.
You
going to
have to.
Recording.
You going to have to.
Luckily for us, the microphones probably aren't picking it up. But I mean, it's just like, you got to get creative. Like, I can't find a black lawn person. I can't find a black anything these days. And then what I'm going to be real with y'all. Like, then when I do find us, like I gave a gentleman an opportunity to change out my HVAC system.
Right.
I still haven't got the receipt. He left the old unit sitting on the side of my house for like 3 months. Damn. Like, come on, man. Like, we got. He
didn't want to get the recycling.
He was like, yeah, my truck broke down. Like, man, we got to be a little bit more professional. I'm not crapping on us all, but here's the thing. When we get in the business, like, we have to go above and beyond to prove to not other people, but to ourselves. Because if we're betting on ourselves, then we can't treat our own people that way. But it's just like, there's a level, we got to get back to service, and we got to get back to hard work. Like, our grandparents and our parents, they worked.
Yeah.
They got out there and they worked. We've gotten a little bit lackadaisical. I don't like to use the word lazy because I know that can be a trope for black people. Yeah. But we've gotten really relaxed. And now everybody's passing us up, and everything is passing us up. And I commend you, and I commend your partner for going to events and going to places and getting into the rooms where y'all are typically one of for every 100 white people there is one black person, right?
Yeah.
Like, we got to get into those rooms more instead of sitting back complaining about how things look. You know what I'm saying?
And that still goes. All that goes back to where? Affordability, right? Because here's the thing. If we don't have the skills that give us some money, now we got to live way out, right? I watched a whole documentary on a girl saying, I make $100,000. Now let's just go there. She makes 65. Her man makes 35. That is what it is. And she was like, the cost of this, the cost of that. But she started naming out the costs. They had 2 brand new cars. They had the top of the line phones with bills on them. They had a bad insurance quote. Then they was trying to do daycare because she working. She making 65. He making 35. She got to work.
Talk to him.
And so now the daycare. And so when you start, you're like, some of this comes back to, are we making enough money? Are we exposed? Is anybody exposing them to, like, they should check their insurance rates? They should maybe have not got 2 brand new cars at the same time with a brand new baby. These are just these conversations that you're like, is Dallas too expensive? Or are you not? Is it an affordability issue, or is it a lack of exposure to economics?
Cherry on top. It's the cherry on top hustle, right? We hustle for the cherry on top. I say we. You want to know why? Because at the age of 18, from the age of 18 to about the age of 25, I was buying a new car every 2 years.
Oh, man, I've seen it.
Like, I was 19 years old with a brand new Chevy Impala. That's when the Impala changed the body style, came back out around 2002, 2003. I think it was 2003. Pulled up, 19-year-old airman, pull up the base with a souped up Impala. Like, that is the worst thing that I could possibly do. Like, if I would have saved up all the money that I spent on cars, man, I'd have a ton of houses, right?
Man,
and I bought new cars every year. But it's like, that's the cherry on top. And this wasn't, I know somebody going to say, well, you can put them on Turo. It wasn't no Turo back then.
Back then, you just was locking it back into another loan.
I rolled so many cars. I got to the point where I was rolling cars after car after car after car. And with perfect credit and no money down, I think I had a car note that was like dang near $700. And I was like, something's got to give. Like, this is crazy. I'm paying $700 for a car note.
Yeah.
And my mortgage is only 12. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's unbalanced.
My mortgage is 12, and the value of this house is going to double in 3 or 4 years, and the value of this car has decreased by 35% as soon as I put the key in it. Like, what are we doing here? But we're trying to look a certain way.
We also are starting later than others. We're getting married later. We're buying that first house later. So the starter house conversation you could have had in your 20s, oh, she's 35 with 3 kids. She's not buying that.
I hate to use the term we starting late.
What's the better word, Tim?
Realizing we're giving bad game up front. So, like, there's this desire. You know, I worked at a Korean company, and I always use this analogy. Mm-hmm. You know, in Korean culture, they do things very specific.
Yep.
Okay? You graduate high school, between 18 and 20, you go to the military.
Yep. Get your 2 years out.
You do your 2 years out, then you go to college from 20 to 21 to 24, 25. Mm-hmm. And you move back home, and you get a job at a Samsung or LG or, you know, whatever is over there, right? And then you work at that job, and then you stay at home and you save up 80% of your checks. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then when you turn 30, 31, you marry someone who's literally done the exact same thing. So then the two of you all have saved up $200,000-$300,000, essentially, the equivalent of, and now you go pay cash for a house. You know what I'm saying? So you're going into a situation where you don't have any debt, you have structure, and then you repeat the cycle. And then what happens is your parents eventually move in with you, and you take care of your parents.
And they watch your babies.
They watch your kids. Like, they have a whole system, but like with us, it's like, I'm 18, I'm grown. Well, I'm grown, I need to give me some bills. Well, I got me some bills now, I got to keep up with this. And it's just like, then when you get to your 30s and damn near 40, you're like, shoot, I've been doing this wrong the whole time. Then you start preaching that to the woodworks, and everybody's like, this dude went crazy. That's not how we do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we were, so the place where my office is in Austin, there's a young lady, she was like, I got to get to Houston. I want to go to Houston so bad. Yeah. Just want to go to Houston. And she's college educated. She got some college debt. And sure enough, she kept going down to Houston. She was like, it's competitive. The job market's competitive. Well, then her dad, and this is what I thought was a signature dad move. Oh, just stay here. I'll put money down and get you a home. Now, Austin's one of the most competitive markets out there for real estate. We're the only market that actually went down out of the 100 markets, and officially down, like down.
Yeah, I was up there though.
We was up. City boys up. No, anyway. So her dad goes, well, I'll just put the money down for you to buy the house. Now, I told her, she's like, I just was struggling with it. I'm like, girl, do you understand the alley-oop at 24 that you're getting in the city of Austin? There are people who live in Houston right now because they have 2 rental properties in Austin. Like, they live, just enjoy life in Houston because they have 2 rental properties in Austin. And your father is stepping up and helping you get to that.
That's how it's supposed to be. But we grown at 18, you know.
I'm moving to Houston.
Or I don't need your help. Like, we have this thing where we got to do it by ourselves. It's like, I don't want my kids to struggle. Like, we pass down struggle. So it's like, yeah, they're going to have to earn it, but I don't want my kids to be put in a position where they have to start over. And, you know, yes, don't get me twisted, man. Like, my background is, I have a master's degree in history. I studied the plight of Black Americans. My thesis essentially was on the great migration of Black people, the first and second wave. Like, I understand the role that the system has played on us, right? Let's not get it twisted. I'm not that guy. Sure. I'm not that pull up your boots by your bootstraps guy. I am the guy who's going to say, we already know that, so what are we going to do next? Like, we know that the cards are stacked against us. If I'm getting a little bit of extra money, if I get a bonus at work for $700 and I take that bonus and I go buy some clothes, or I go to the club, or I go turn up, or I go to Tulum, Mexico, or I go party, and then the next paycheck I'm broke, that's on me.
Yeah.
If I take that $700 and I buy a $300 course over here that's going to teach me how to learn government contracts, and I buy another $300 course over here that's going to teach me how to invest in real estate from a reputable person, and I apply myself, by the time that bonus comes around again, I'm putting myself in a position where I'm making extra money, and now this money over here is funding what I really want to do.
Right.
But it's like we don't do that. We expect like there to be this magic wand, and we want to win and we want to be on top, and that's not how it really works in the real world. The most wealthy people I know, right. You would never know who they are because they don't want to be seen.
They don't.
They don't wear flashy clothes. They'll walk into the room with a pair of Brooks on. You know, they'll walk into the room with no watch, no jewelry, maybe an Apple Watch or something, driving their old Civic. They don't want to be seen, but we think that wealth is being seen.
And, well, we want to be seen, right? That's part of that, too. We want to be seen. We feel ignored in this culture. So that's part of that. But part of when I hate when people say, oh, not the bootstraps. Not the bootstraps, man. They even got a loan now, Texas bootstrap loan. Come on now, $45,000 down, 0%, no money. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
See what that's talking about.
It's
that's money.
Helpful. Yeah, it's super helpful. But here's the problem. I always ask people what you've been doing the past 5 years. Because if you don't know where you're going the next 5 years, you're already there. So when people say, Ericka, racism and redlining and the man, foot on my neck, I go, well, the last 5 years you've been doing good on Facebook. You haven't been pre-approved. Crickets. The last 5 years you ain't moved out of that apartment. No, crickets.
It's a facade.
Right.
I see it every
so
day.
You know what I'm saying? When people blame racism, it makes me frustrated because I go, what have you been doing to fight against that?
Nothing. But when you say that out loud, you're cooning.
How dare you?
Or when you say that out loud, you're talking down on your people. Like, enough with the bull. Like, at some point in the game, we're going to have to say, this don't work. Like, I got invited to a march the other day for affirmative action repeal. And I sit on a board here in Dallas. So, as a member of the board, there's a lot of different diverse things that we do.
Right.
And I've learned that I have to start putting myself in certain rooms and conversations, even if I don't agree with it. Because these are the black people that are essentially making all the decisions for the black people.
Yeah, for sure.
And I got invited to the march, and I said, I'm not going to the march, but I will come to the discussion after the march because it's 2023. Don't mean to date the show, but it's 2023. What in the hell is a march going to do for us today? Like, literally, what specifically do we need to be? We need to raise awareness. We're aware that things are bad. Like, we need to raise money. We need to. If I can sue you for it, I would rather just sue you. I don't need to walk around and shout at you. Like, let's just go to court. But when you start talking about doing stuff like that and putting the money up, everyone gets quiet because it's not normal for us to put our money up for stuff like that. It's normal for us to, if we want to go on a trip and go celebrate, we'll do that. But when it's time to actually create change economically, we don't do it. So, like, we're gonna have to get out of that old way of doing things. That's where I'm going with this. Like, don't invite me to a march. If you're not marching and then we're not going to show up to a place at the end where we hire an attorney and we sue, then don't invite me to the march. But that's what we do. We try to solve today's problems with 1956 solutions or 1965 solutions. Or
I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to go on YouTube and talk about it for 5 hours. I'm a emote online.
I'm raising awareness.
I'm catching scammers.
Oh God, let's not get on that.
You know what I'm saying? Again.
Let's not get on
so
that.
let me put it to you like this. I'm big on, we're complaining about affordability, but I feel like it's just lip service.
It is.
Right? Because
where's the affordable housing located?
Everywhere.
But specifically in a metropolitan area, what areas do you find affordable housing?
It's going to be in the hood.
It's going to be in the hood.
It's going to be in the hood.
So then there's this, so and you know me. You've known me for what, 8 years now? Mm-hmm. So when you met me, I was screaming what? Buy houses in South Dallas. Buy houses in Oak Cliff. They're selling houses for $20,000. They're selling houses for $15,000. Buy them. I don't want to live over there. I'm not telling you to live over there.
Because they want to be in the mix.
Right? Because when we get our money, we follow them. Mm-hmm. And now once we get out there, they leave. They come back, right? So then when they come back, oh, they're gentrifying my neighborhood. No, they're not. You didn't buy the property. You let grandma die without a will, without a trust, without paperwork in place. So now, you don't have the money to probate it. She owes taxes. The house is gone. And then the people that are buying the house, they don't want you there in theory. So the problem is ours. Like we have to own the problem. And listen, I came back to the city. Moving back to the city, even though I'm about to move to the suburbs, I don't care what nobody say about me. I've been back in the city for 7 years now. My property value has doubled. All the properties that we own have, in some cases, multiplied times 5 and 6. Mm-hmm. We're going to keep these properties, I'm about to get out to the suburbs, okay? I did my part. I showed exactly what y'all need to do, right?
You got more babies now.
You know what I'm saying? Here. But you know what? I'm really tired of the BS that comes in the city,
right.
But I'm not giving up my ownership in the city. Ericka gonna have me sick as hell. She been coughing.
I promise it's allergies.
Ericka always got a little sniff or a sneeze. We both have real bad allergies, so I get
bad allergies. So here's the thing. It's like, when people talk about gentrification, first thing comes to my mind, and I'm in Austin, Texas, and they showed this house that kept getting, code violations because the grass is high, the trees, and they finally get the family out there. And they're like, we don't want to lose our mother's house. Mama been gone 7 years. The roof is sliding off. Right. She said, I really hope we can revitalize this house and start having cookouts at it. Well, she was one of five siblings. Why the grass ain't cut? Why we ain't cleaned up mama's house? Why we ain't having cookouts at mama's house if we care about mama's house that bad? 5 of us living in other parts of Austin. House down here worth $700,000.
We abandoned it.
And basically that's what it looked abandoned.
Because it's not. I know your show ain't all like that, so I won't go that deep. But it's just that's not what we want. We pretend like we want it when we begin to lose. But during the fight, during the game, like I said, I was in the military, so everything's war to me. Yeah. Everything. Like we're
little finger.
I look at it like, okay, this is a mission, right? During the mission, people don't care about that until somebody else conquers them in that mission. And they say, oh my gosh. You're like, no, man, like we got to get up out that. Like, I'm sick and tired of being a victim. I'm sick and tired of sitting back watching all the opportunities slip away. And we're not doing anything about it. And black people tend to suffer in silence. We have this thing where we can't correct each other. We can't hold each other accountable. Like, enough is enough. Like, at some point in the game, we have to start acknowledging where we dropped the ball so that we can pick it back up and roll it the way it needs to roll. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
The biggest thing is, like, we have these phones in our hands. They're massive computers.
How much your phone cost?
Man, I ain't paid for a phone in forever. But this one is maybe $800.
Okay. Mine is a $1,100 iPhone.
Right.
We got bread for that.
We do.
I tell people be like, I'm like, excuse me, if you don't mind me asking, do you have an iPhone or an Android? Why? I got an iPhone. So you can afford a $1,200 phone, but you can't afford you're like, come on, man. Like,
so I've been doing a series for past 3 years called Tech Tuesday.
Yeah.
In a way to get 1 million black people in tech, right? It's been interesting. People, I'm too old. I don't know. How much to learn? How long? Well, how much they gonna pay? Ma'am, on average, African American community is making $39,000 a year. So if this job gonna pay you $75,000 a year entry level, didn't I already double your income? Almost.
You already
know.
Yeah. But see, if you said it out loud, then it's like, oh, you must be you voted for Trump, huh? Right? I mean, like, you can't, there's no accountability. Like, it's just, they'll always find a way. We always find a way to invalidate one another when accountability is being held. Like, I went somewhere recently with a group of people, and a very vast group of people, and I was just talking about how we got on the subject of politics, which I don't talk about politics a lot. And I was like, well, specifically, what policies have been created to protect black people, by the specific people that you have supported? And instead of answering the question, the first thing they asked me, you must be this party. You must have voted for this guy. Wait a minute.
You didn't answer the question.
You didn't answer the question. Specifically, what policies have been created by that politician that you just mentioned? Well, they can't do it by themselves. So it's always a carousel of, okay, vote for me so I can represent you. Then we send you down there. And then you get down there, and then it's like, well, I can't do it by myself. Then why did I vote for you? You know what I'm saying? Because when other people get elected from other groups, they go straight down there and start raising hell. Yeah. Right? Because that's what they were put there for. We're the only people that do that whole passive, but let's move those people out of the way. Yeah. And let's have a louder voice than them, because they're going to always march us into a ditch.
Well, you saw what happened in Houston.
What's that?
When the ICE said, Trump was in, they said, ICE is coming through Texas. Yeah, we're going to get them. Houston had their city council member come out there, he was crying, y'all are not going to arrest these hardworking Chinese and Korean businessmen in my district. I mean, tears. And no one ever came in his district and arrested anybody. But did we hear what he said? These Korean and Chinese businessmen. That meant they paid him what? Money. You're my representative. I put you in. You gonna go fight for me. You go fight ICE.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
There you go.
Well, but that's not what we do. We treat that world like church. You know, we treat it like it's howdy ho ho. You know, I want to go to the gala, the gala. You know, I want to come to the cookout or the fish fry. No. We've celebrated for too long. What are we celebrating? We're losing in every statistical category, whether it's economics, education, everything. Like, what are we celebrating? We need to start building wealth, and it's going to hurt. It's going to be ugly. You're going to have to step on toes. You're going to have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to tighten your belt. You're going to have to stop eating out. You're going to have to stop traveling for a while. You're going to have to stop. You're going to have to cancel your cable. You're going to have to do a lot of things that you just don't want to do for a little bit. It's not forever. Right? But then once you get ahead, then you can bring those things back into your life strategically so they can benefit you to continue your mission. But everybody wants to show up and win. You know, I just did the documentary, and I know we're not going to talk about that right now, but I specifically chose a school here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that has a 95% black student body. And they also have a film and editing department. I went and I offered a scholarship. I said, hey, I will pay you guys to be my interns, and I will give you a scholarship if you help me complete this documentary. No black students volunteered for it. The only 3 Hispanic students in the class volunteered. They were begging me, Mr. Tim, I want to do it. Mr. Tim, when we're going to get started. I purposely delayed the project to see if more black students would start. And then when we finally started, you know what? And those students, shout out to them, amazing students. I'm going to work with them again. I would sit back and I have pictures of it. I would never post it because these are kids, and I wouldn't invade anyone's project. But I took them for my own personal self and for my to show my wife and even the instructor. The black kids will be watching YouTube basketball highlights every day, watching Real Housewives or whatever, slap boxing each other, just not doing anything, not even doing their own work, right? And then you got these other kids over here that's busting their tail to make this documentary what it is. It's just like, I literally begged to give them money and an opportunity, and they wouldn't take it because everybody wants to be a millionaire. If it ain't gonna make me $1 million, I don't want it, I guess.
If it ain't paying $100,000, why am I gonna switch careers?
Why would I do that? And it's just like, you know how bad that hurt as a black man who has dedicated his life, specifically the last decade, to improving the lives of black kids. Right. Like that. But it was what it was. You got to move on. You have to dance with the person that showed up with you, right?
Dance with the woman who took you.
I'm telling you.
That's an old song for a reason. Dance with who brought you to it.
I know you like country music, so you probably been jamming that. Don't do that in a small town, huh?
No, listen, I haven't even got to hear the song. That's the crazy part. I haven't heard the song. I'm like, first of all, why are y'all even upset? Like, y'all live in these small towns. Y'all know what's up. Quit playing.
But we can sing bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. And, like, come on, man. Like, at what point in the game do we start saying we fighting the wrong battle? Like, who cares? Right? Like, like seriously, like, who cares? Like, our music has been destroying our communities for decades. And you mad at some white folks that's telling you don't come to their city with that bullshit? Sorry, I know you don't like cussing on here. I'm trying my best.
You fine.
But like, okay, that's his stance.
Yeah.
Okay, he's right, actually, because I live in Dallas County, and we have a very, very, I'm not going to say relaxed, but if you commit a crime in Dallas County, you will more than likely get probation before you get prison sentence.
Right.
You go and commit that same crime the next county over, Collin, Tarrant,
beat your legs,
Rockwall, Kaufman, Johnson. You commit that same crime in those cities, they send you to Huntsville, player. Like, so that is a true statement.
Yeah.
Literally, it's a true statement. We all know that, but we get mad about some of the most stupid things. But then you're about to lose your grandmother's property that's going to be worth $500,000 in the next 10 years. And you worried about somebody telling you don't come to his city, a city that you'll never go to. Anyway. Like, come on, man. Nowhere. Our priorities are so messed up, man.
Well, the thing of it, too, is like, I live in Austin, and they used to say, Travis County 5 to 10, Williamson County 10 to 20.
Bruh.
And I got stopped 12 times by the police, and it wasn't in Austin. It was in Williamson County.
I told you about the kid that I mentored that... He had I'm not going to say the school because I still mentor him to this day. He's in prison. He should be coming home soon. He got a full ride track scholarship to one of the best track schools in the nation. So when you think track, you think 3 schools. You think Oregon, Baylor, you think LSU. Those are the first 3 schools. Those are like the Alabama of football.
I know. Right? It's LSU more than Baylor lately. LSU,
Baylor, Oregon. Yep. That's the rotation, right? He got a full ride scholarship to one of those schools. Okay? Came home, got into some trouble in Rockwall County. They offered him 20 years. Never been in trouble a day in his life. They offered him 20 years.
That's awful.
You see what I'm saying? You don't do that stuff in the town. Now, if he would have been in Dallas, he probably would have got 5 years probation. Like, so that's like, we gotta understand, like, that's the game.
Were y'all able to fight a little bit?
They finally, they got it. His attorney got it down to 12. Damn. On a first-time offense for a 19-year-old kid who had never been in trouble from a 2-parent home in Rockwall. They got it down to 12. They did him a favor, right? Like, that's the reality of it. So if you don't own anything, how can you fight for anything, right?
The biggest thing I tell people is we're arguing over neighborhoods and cities we're not even invested in. Like, I went to Houston. I used to go to Houston all the time. And I'm going to I was going to restaurants, hookah lounges, establishments that I thought were black owned. I was confused. They're like, oh, no, Armenians own all these.
All of them.
I said, which ones? And they just named off 7 that I thought were black owned places. I said, and I go there and it's 100% black crowd, buildings packed out. It's got cars, the luxury cars in the yachts. And I was just shocked. I was like, what? But
you got Kevin here in Dallas who owns the True Kitchen brand, the true, brand. Well, I think he just opened up a store in DC. Mm-hmm. And you can't stop black people from going on writing bad reviews and talking shit about
this guy. And twerking. Because
they go to his spot and they disrespect it. Twerking and acting a damn fool. And when he says, no, I don't want that here. Well, now you want to go and make bad. It's overrated. It's overpriced. But you'll go and pay that same or even more. I saw where they were, they went to a couple places in Atlanta and they were testing the fish.
And it's fake.
And they were selling fake fish and cheap fish, and it's like, well, black people will go and we'll show up and pay $50 for a la carte, for some fake fish. And we would never complain. But if another black person is trying to open an establishment and give us that same luxury, it's never good enough. Like, we gotta get out of that.
Yeah, it's real. It's real wild. And I think it's unfortunately it's that mentality of who does that person think they are? Right?
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
We've heard that, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The people that come at you and me harder are people that look just like us that we have literally extended ourselves, our time, effort, energy, and money to help. I recently did a scholarship for a kid. I don't even care about talking about this, man. Forget these folks, man. Like my wife was working with a lady and she was coming to work complaining about how her son was in this program that was extremely expensive. He was the only black kid in it. I said, let's do a fundraiser for him. We'll use our nonprofit. We're going to raise this kid some money. Mm-hmm. And so we raised him a pretty decent amount of money, a couple $1,000s. Mm-hmm. So then apparently the dad gets wind of it. Now, everyone knew about this, but when it was time to cut the check, now the mom and the dad, they all fighting over who's going to get all the money. Like, it was the most embarrassing thing I've ever experienced in my life.
That's it.
Watch people fight over.
But it was going to the school, right?
It was going to the kid as a scholarship so he can pay for his schooling.
Oh, my God.
Man, when I tell you, I said, well, hey, I can sell you the money because, we have a nonprofit. We can sell you. Then when the dad came, I didn't know anything about this. I'm like, yeah, you did. Your family donated to. What are you talking about? Well, so I guess mom and dad were beefing with each other. I don't know what was going on with them, but They made it about them and the money. And it's like, you're about to mess up an opportunity for your son because you guys are fighting over some pennies, really.
Pennies.
And so we cut him the check. The sad thing about it was there was somebody who was wanting to give him some more money. It's just like,
after seeing
I don't even want to make that connection because if they treated us like that and we actually helped them and we have a legitimate nonprofit organization that does this all the time, why would I send you over to someone else that's willing to probably double what we got you? But it's black folks. It's, hey, well, they must be doing something over there. No, man, I'm a black man who operates a nonprofit organization. Do you know I get scrutinized more than any other nonprofit organization because of who I help? Why in the world would I do something like that crazy? But that's what we do to each other. It's just a never-ending cycle. So we got to start, for lack of better words, excommunicating those people who aren't about the progress and start building with people that are.
A biggest thing too is when it comes to this affordability argument, it's just so unaffordable, I'm like, if it is, why are people still flocking to our areas from New York, Pennsylvania? Black folks running south. They run into the South. If it wasn't affordable, but really what we get stuck in is, I don't know if you've seen this post on Facebook, but it always be like, people like, ain't you ready for houses to be $800 a month rent to?
That'll never happen.
Again, like you get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for $800 rent. That ain't happening ever again. Man, remember when cars or just, and I'm like, what happens is we get people who are stuck in the feel good 90s. I'm talking people in their 40s and 50s still talking about Bill Clinton era. Man, remember we went down there in 1995 to something? I'll be like, 1995? What you talking about? I remember this lady was talking about when jobs were plentiful. And I had to ask her, well, what do you mean? Because in my mind, jobs plentiful right now, right?
They're very plentiful.
She was talking about, easier factory jobs. You could just walk in. I said, ma'am, they ain't been factory jobs.
40 years. 30 years at least.
Like, they were closing some of them down when I was leaving high school, 2002. What are you talking about?
And some of the most poorest places in the world are in the, the Appalachian Mountain region. Those people that relied on that. But, I mean, a lot of them won't leave either. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at what point in the game do we just finally start saying that we have to adjust and adapt before it's too late? Like, we wait. Collectively, I always say if a group of black people are hopping on something, they're 5 years behind.
Oh, man. Listen. Let me tell you, when you talk about wholesaling.
Oh, bro.
And we wholesaling directly to builders who was looking for cheap land to build on. And now we looking for cheap land and we ain't nothing left. We done wholesaled it all. Right? So we now we stuck, and I remember talking to a bunch of black wholesalers in Houston and Dallas. And I'd be at events like, hey man, why y'all ain't building? Right? Because I was just starting to get like the whiff of building. I don't know the steps. Like I know all the people. I got the plumber, I know this person, but I don't know the steps. I'm like, who can you go talk to? And they were scared. They were scared when this was the time, right? And so now, even though we're getting into building now, our people are getting into building now. I told them, I said, I went to a conference, I realized, you building a couple buildings, that's fine, I don't care. You building a few, okay, yeah, make you some money. But I'm building a 1,000-unit apartment and the government give me all the money. I'm building 55 and up senior homes and the government's giving me money. You know what I'm saying? Like the levels to this that we on like bam, bam, footstep level.
Bro.
Excited to build a couple houses, which is nothing wrong. I salute any man, woman doing it. There have been people, I remember in the blast crash, their dads were still building homes. I was like, man, your dad's still building houses? Not knowing they black daddy was making all that money once he sold it.
Shit, you got me coughing now. I get sick as Ericka fault, y'all.
But I didn't know what I didn't know, right? Because this was 2008. I'm seeing somebody's dad who don't really dress flashy, got a nice home, didn't know they dad's still building houses just slower. Because at the end of the day, when he sold it, he was going to make $100,000 off of it. He was going to be just fine. I didn't know. Didn't know. So by the time we get on it, yeah, it's, whether it's anything, credit, taxes. By the time it's super mainstream dump trucks, we're a little delayed.
Very.
And let me tell y'all, this is allergies, y'all. It's just here. I don't know what he's talking about. It's just allergies.
I wasn't coughing at all. She started coughing, now I'm coughing. So
it's in his mind.
Let me call my attorney. Said a classy climb. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so that's my only issues when hearing about affordability is these are people that weren't even looking to buy a house, right? I meet so many people from Charlotte talking about, Charlotte's so expensive. Man, Charlotte and Atlanta had $400 rent many moons ago when them people moved, but they still like, well, where'd the rent go up? Baby, it ain't been $400 rent since I was in high school. What are you talking about? That's what, and then the places you were renting for $400 rent look like they about to fall over in the next storm.
We have these unrealistic expectations of reality, and we got to get out of that. We have to catch up with the times if we want to change how the trajectory of things are going. Like, affordable housing to me is an oxymoron, if I can just be completely honest with you. For sure. Because I feel like, what's the definition of affordable? Right? Mm-hmm. So what's affordable to you may not be affordable to me, right? Mm-hmm. Here in the city of Dallas, you can't build a house that's smaller than 900 square feet. That's why you don't see tiny houses in Dallas. Right. Like, it's legislated. You cannot build a house less than 900 square feet. So everyone, well, I just want to build a tiny home, or I want to build a container home. You can't build a container home like that because there's certain regulations that it has to meet fire codes. Mm-hmm. Like, you can add containers. There's a few in Dallas, but they're few and far between. But
yeah, you go to country. You can go all the way out 30 minutes outside of Dallas and build you whatever you like.
You're doing it in the city of Dallas.
You're not doing it in Dallas. You're not doing it in Austin either. This is the thing where you start talking to people and you realize they have caught wind of some trend and they on the back end of it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. Baby, just 2 more steps of research and would have told you you're not gonna be able to do that particular project in the city you live in.
You can't even do Airbnb here no more. Like, but again.
But that's because people was doing too much. People was doing, this is what I'm saying. By the time we talking about it online, we doing too much talking online. We doing, oh man, let me tell you about my tour on Airbnb.
And we talk too damn much. We do. I'm sorry to say it, but we talk too damn much.
They gonna outlaw podcast.
Shut your ass up. get around some people that you know that's going to be about that life and move with them. But we want to show everybody what we doing. That, hey, look at me spirit, right? And that, hey, look at me spirit, the people who actually make the rules are like, I see where this is going. Let's go ahead and start legislating this out.
Oh, on that topic, literally right now in Charlotte, they're going for it right now. They're going to see if they're going to push it. And it's going to be in other cities. Well, if you're going to build a new construction fourplex in the hood, you got to make one of the units affordable. Well, we already know what that happens. If I make one of my units affordable, it's going to bring down the comparables. It's going to bring down the value.
Right.
Now I can't get the loan for, because your rent's coming to your loan, right? Like, how much can you rent these units for? Well, if I mandatorily have to make one low income, now my numbers are skewed. Now that disenfranchised who? That disenfranchised a small builder who's just building one project at a time till he can get somewhat big money. That don't stop Camden. That don't stop them big apartment complexes. They building all day. You need 20% of them be low income? Sure, no problem. That stops you because y'all be on the internet telling everybody what we about to do. We going in these neighborhoods. We gonna buy these houses.
Pick me, people. Man. Like you don't have to be seen. Rich is flashy, wealth is quiet. Mm-hmm. Like it's and we as black people, like you said, we want to be accepted so bad because we have been disenfranchised. We have had a tough road to hold. Let's not get it twisted. But like, you move in silence. You move in. Mm-hmm. I've gotten completely off social media for the most part. I mean, I'm gonna start promoting the documentary, but I've never was a guy who wanted to flex or flash on people anyway, but it's just move in silence, man. Like, people don't have to know your every move. And it's like, I said this the other day, I said, we have a culture where when one black person does something really good, we celebrate it as if we all did it really good. And then what happens is nobody else does it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You see that within black business. Well, my cousin got a beauty shop, so I'm not going to open a beauty shop because she already got one. No, open up more. Like, even though we don't need more beauty shops. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, I look at the dude, Jalen, what's his name?
There's so many Jalens.
From the Boston Celtics.
Boston Celtics. Oh, yep.
Jaylen Brown.
Yep.
He's got the largest contract in NBA history. And they asked him what he was going to do with the money.
Generational wealth.
And he said he was going to start creating opportunities for generational wealth for minorities, people of color. And I cringed when he said that.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you why I cringed. I said he's about to get his Negro wake-up call. He's gonna learn that the mentality that most of our people have is you made it, so we made it. So why do we have to do the work? Because you just did all the work. Just give us the money, we'll be straight. I've seen it in my own life with my own mentoring program. Hey guys, come, we're teaching you how to make more money, yada, yada, yada. Oh, Tim, you good, you got it. But then when they have stuff, they come to me for it. I ain't got $200-something million. And I said, I hope that he doesn't get what I call black burnout, where he's really, really trying to help his people. And I said, what's going to happen is that we're not going to show up to those classes or whatever he's doing. Other minorities are going to show up and they're going to benefit from that money. And then we're going to be complaining that he didn't help us because that's what we do. And I really hope it doesn't work that way. But I've seen how this play ends. I've watched this movie 1,000 times where we celebrate the one person who makes it and then we sit back as if we all made it.
Yeah.
And what you notice is those people in your family, in your friend group that make it, they don't come around that much anymore. Because when they come around, they get sick of being guilted, because they've had success.
Yep.
They get sick of being the person that has to carry everybody.
Well, everybody ain't got it like you, man.
Hey, man, see you big time.
Everybody ain't got it like you.
Right?
We can't do it. I mean, I was at college and one of my cousins wanted to go to college, same college I did. It was already a family rule. No, you had to go to this other college because it got 10% off. And the first thing out my aunt's mouth was like, well, I ain't got it like, my mama's got it. I ain't got it like my sister. I can't just send you anywhere. And so it's like, I'm paying these student loans. And I was going for free because she was military. She was going back for the Iraq War. Didn't even know that. I worked in the financial aid office. Nobody asked me a thing. Nobody even helped me do the paperwork to get there either. And so what happens is we just can't be we ain't got it like them, so we can't send you here. We can't do this. And unfortunately, when I watched this thing, I made a post on it. I said, man, I feel bad for this guy. I hope he gets security tomorrow because what's about to happen is some Me Too movement's about to happen. Some cousins, he owed $2 too, about to call up. Some mess is about to happen, unfortunately, to him because, never let the left hand know what the right hand's doing.
Never.
But also, we don't ask white basketball players what they about to do with their money.
Say that again. Like, there's no obligation for them to come back and do
anything. What's his name? Djokovic was like, I'm going home to go play with my horses or something. That's what they asked him what he was about to do with that. They didn't ask him what he doing with his money. They asked him, what do you get ready to do?
Because there's this black savior complex. Like, if one of us makes it, we have to save everybody. And I ain't gonna lie, I bought into that. I was that guy for the last 10 years, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into the camera and say, I am not that guy no more. Like if you want it, you get it yourself. I can give you a blueprint. I literally created a platform where you can go buy courses for $9, the $9 Academy. If you want to learn a certain concept, if you can't pay $9 to learn it, it ain't shit I can do for you.
You on a bad,
like you on your own.
You out on the street thumbing it.
Like you on your own, but it's like we're the only people that do that. I don't see other coaches doing that to their people. I just don't.
Well, and here's the thing too. The reason I'm big at this point, I'm like, man, at this point for me in the game, I'm like, I went to the conferences, I got the information, I shared as much as I could. Right now, it's just time for me to hone in and focus for my own family. And like I remember in our town, my hometown where I'm from, there's 5 families. They ain't even been there that long. They've been there a good 30, 40 years at most, and they own 80% of all the rentals. Yeah. Everybody else is a little independent mom and pop stuff. But I was like, y'all, these people, all they did is came and just kept buying. And now you renting the stores from them. You leasing the store fronts. You leasing the hair salons from them. And this ain't no small city. It's a pretty big city. But what happens is we all go chase our own little independent thing, and no one's buying assets.
Nope.
No one's buying assets, and it's very scary. So for this meeting, I'm on a ramp up of the next 2 to 5 years, just assets. And as I joke, somebody's like, "Oh, when you leaving Texas?" I said, "Texas owe me some money." I'm leaving when Texas get me my apartment complexes and my other stuff. That's when I can leave, right? Because the opportunity's everywhere. I mean, people are coming from other states. I remember talking to this girl, and she was saying, I came to Texas, some Cedars thing, y'all got Cedar? And she said she came because her cousin, and just how she said it, her aunt cousin with 3 kids came and bought a house after working in Texas for 2 years. So she came with her husband. She won't even think it. I'm coming to Texas for opportunity. She came because my cousin bought a house. I can do that. Yeah. And so once I heard that, I was like, man, we're not even trying to learn it for the enjoyment. It's like the competition of it. So it's like, I can't help you like that. If that's your only focus is, well, my cousin doing this, I got to do better than him. That's crazy.
That's deep.
So, we can only help who we can help. That's what we got to learn. We can only help who we can help.
That's deep, man.
Who ready and they ready to come, we can help them people.
We have to be comfortable with leaving people behind. Like, I challenge everyone to get comfortable with just leaving people behind. Like, a person who doesn't have a desire to improve their own life will always find a way to get by. They will always find a way to get by. They'll always find a way to do just enough to not be completely on their ass. So we have to start mastering the art of being able to leave people like that behind and focusing on the people that need it. I'm going to be extremely transparent right here in this moment. The last time me and you sat down, you had a gentleman here who is a home developer, all right?
Yes.
And I believe his wife is a pharmacist. My mother was in the hospital at the time, and you're like, you should talk to this guy. His wife is a pharmacist. He set up the call. I talked to his wife. His wife looked at my mother's medical chart, looked at all the medicine she had been taking for 4 or 5 years, made 2 recommendations and said, go see this type of specialist. My mother had been struggling with this issue for years that she's had. We went and saw the specialist. They identified exactly what was going on, and they scheduled her to have her surgery. She literally had her surgery yesterday. I haven't seen you since she was in the hospital. Right. And she's at home now, and I'm sitting next to you. Literally, it's like full circle. That was a conversation that 2 people who have reputable reputations, who trust each other, who I don't know you. I didn't know you 8 years ago. Yeah. We're not from the same city. We're not from the same town. We didn't grow up. But I trusted you because of who you were. And because of that, I'm able to, it's helping my family, right? And we got to get into the mindset of leaving those people behind that are sitting around you that ain't giving you no benefit, that's not helping you, that's not benefiting your life. Like, we're so loyal to people like that. And you have a perfect stranger that's sitting right next to you, that's in your inbox, that's inviting you to stuff, and you won't even go because it's not that cousin or that best friend who you want to win. Let them lose. They don't want to win. The gift and the idea wasn't given to them. It was given to you. And it's up to you to find more people like you. You have to get out there and search. And in the black community, too much, we try to save the entire group. There's no one group of people where everyone is winning. No. White, black, Hispanic, Asian. If you go, we live in America, so we know a lot of Asian people and African people and people who come from different areas that have success. But when you go back to their home countries and native countries, it's extremely poor. Not to knock them. But they're the ones that were able to come out of the situation to make the best of it. And in most cases, they're taking care of people back home. Mm-hmm. But they come here and they get around the like-minded people so they can create the success. We got to start getting around the like-minded people that ain't just doing this all day. Because I could have easily ignored what Ericka was talking about. I think Andre hooked us up, right?
Yeah.
Andre C. Hatchett.
Andre Hatchett.
The man.
The super connector.
The super connector. Like, get into those rooms with people that can connect you with the right people and stop trying to bring along dead weight. That's it. Like, literally. That's it.
Man, that's it. That's my drop right there. I can't come behind that, y'all. Well, you guys, this has been an affordability segment.
Affordability. We talked about everything.
We're going to break it into some segments, but we're going to have some amazing clips on the internets for this. But, Tim, thank you. Thank you for letting us come out.
Sure.
Thank you for talking to us. And let's, let's do another show and talk about your documentary because we got all off guard.
We got off topic.
It's okay.
That's what we do, though.
It's what we do. Okay. Anyways, you guys, this is your girl, Ericka from the Classy Climb blog. Links for his documentary will be below, and they'll also be in our next video series. Thanks for coming.